got a pretty packed agenda. We've got a very exciting time. Lots to talk about tonight. I know it's a little bit before 7. We're not going to start the official meeting until 7 in case we've got some distractions coming in here right on schedule. But I just wanted to say two things. One is that welcome to everybody that's here. I remember when we started having these meetings several years back, I think it was even in this room, when the economy was at its really heartbreaking thing, and we were having a major hub press and support group with each of our municipalities in our county and our schools, all talking about how everything was pretty downhearted and struggling and all. And tonight you're going to see some of the opposite side of that. There's a lot of positive things that's going on in this county, and pretty excited about that. But what I want to do real quick, because there's a lot of faces who don't know other faces, and what I'd like to do real quickly is to just have people go around. All I want you to do is stand up, tell folks who you are, what you do, and then sit down. Those three things, the most important one is then sit down. We got a lot to accomplish today, and so I'm Larry Hicks. I'm the one of the co-chairs of the Chatham County Economic Development. And Ken, Doug, you're next.
All right. I'm Doug Emmons. I'm a board member on the EDC, and glad to be here.
I'm Robert Reeves. I'm your new State House representative for District 54 and still running the whole state.
I'm Karen Howard. I'm chair of the Chatham County School Board, and I'm running for county commissioner.
I'm Mike Cross, County Commissioner, and I'm sitting down.
I'm Michael Fiocco, Town Board Commissioner from Pittsboro.
Diana Hales, Chatham County, semi-retired and running for county commissioner.
Steve Knapp, County Goldston Commissioner.
Mia Munn, I'm running for school board.
Keith Prisco from Ashboro, and I'm running for U.S. Congress in the 2nd District, and this great town is part of it. Thank you very much.
I'm Jim Crawford, and I am also running for County Commission.
Drew Winiger on the Board of EDC.
Mike Donahue, I'm the treasurer of EDC.
Diane Reed with the Chatham Economic Development Corporation.
Bill Townsend with the Chatham EDC.
I'm Bud Marchant with Central Carolina Community College.
John Grimes, Mayor of Siler City.
Louis Bailey, Siler City Town Commissioner.
Larry Cheek, Siler City Town Commissioner.
Jack Meadows, Planning Director in Siler City.
Linda Harris at DC Board.
Tom Roberts, EDC Board. Brock Thompson, Siler City Town Manager.
Ryan Buck, Chatham County Commissioner.
Chris Ehrenfeld, Chatham EDC Board.
Gary Leonard, Board of Education.
David Ham, Board of Education, and a state fan.
Eric Jordan, Superintendent of Schools.
Walter Petty, Chatham County Commissioner.
Alyssa Burden, EDC.
Jack Stevens, citizen.
That was so super efficient. We got so much time left over. Stand up and tell us your favorite colored person. No. If it's okay with everybody, we can go. I think it's okay to start pretty much, since we technically gathered this meeting at 6 o'clock. A lot to cover. The first thing I want to do is introduce Doug Emmons here, who's going to talk to us a little bit about stuff. All kind of stuff.
Thanks, Larry. Thanks, Larry. Chris and I are going to share this presentation. What we wanted to do tonight was share with you an update of some things that we've been also sharing with Diane's help in the EDC in trying to help get awareness out in the county around some of the activities that the EDC is engaged in that you folks are supportive of as elected officials. So, without further ado, what I'd like to do is kind of walk you through this presentation. And what we're going to do is we're going to cover 4 topics. I'm going to cover the first 2. Chris will cover the last 2. And this was based on the premise that as we began looking at some of the exciting projects that are going on within the EDC and within the county, there's a tremendous amount of activity, but as we talked to individuals in the county, not everybody was quite aware of what was happening. So what we decided was maybe we could be a little more proactive and go out on tour, if you will, and start sharing some of the good things that we believe are happening within Chatham County on the part of yourselves and the EDC. So we started with helping people understand why economic development was important and how they should appreciate that. So first we just started with kind of a profile of the county. You know, we're the number 20th largest county of 100 in the state. We're 40th in population, 66th in terms of workforce, 86th in terms of jobs to workforce ratio, and that's kind of interesting, right? We have a low unemployment ratio, 4.4% as of December, and our average weekly wage is $625 versus a state average of $710. So we've got a fairly rural community based on that profile. The industries that are primarily in place are agriculture, manufacturing, and then a portfolio of a diversified set, but largely agriculture, right? There's over 1,100 farms in the county. Manufacturing is food and wood products, but we've had a decline here with the loss of the poultry plant here in Siler City. When you look at the private sector jobs, the manufacturing industry itself has actually declined. So we've had a steady state pretty much in government jobs. The private sector has actually gone down. So the total jobs within county has decreased, and yet we've had a number of significant changes in the county overall with new growth. So part of this is largely a function of the manufacturing decline. And that's something that obviously with some of the new projects being proposed in the county, hopefully will get addressed in a positive way. So if you look at us as a bedroom community, we've got 55% of this resident labor force commuting outside the county, an average of 26 minutes each way. As a result, we've also got people spending almost 2/3 of their dollar outside the county, right? So that has a negative impact on our tax revenue to Chatham County as well, to the tune of over almost $8 million a year. Not insignificant. When you look at the county tax base, you've got 91% based on non-commercial or industrial sources. So you've only got 9% contributing to this tax base. So largely it's on us as individuals that are bearing the burden of the tax situation for the county. And when you look at this cost of community services, for every dollar raised in taxes, it costs in excess of $1 to provide those community services on a residential basis. So when you have the bulk of the tax revenue coming in from residents and it's costing us more to provide those services, that's not the ideal ratio that we want to have. So we kind of looked at a model here in terms of partnership, which is also, if you look at the EDC, it's a micro model, right? The board, the representation on the EDC is really a micro model of the fact that we've got business representation, education representation, and government representation. And to do effective economic development, I think everybody here would agree that you really need a balance of those sectors. And so as we began sharing some of this, we actually had feedback and questions coming from some of the people that we were presenting these updates to that would ask, well, what about education? What is Chatham County doing to help us with workforce training and things? So we've just added a few updates to portray that and improve that message as well. So with that, I'm going to turn to the second topic and talk a bit about education and the role that school systems, the community college, and other programs have here. So when you look at the demographics, we've got a good-sized population. You can see where we've got the bulk of people between 18 and 65, which is a large workforce, and yet most of those people are not working in county today. We've got about 13% of people that are speaking a language other than English at home. there's a number of people that have high school graduate degrees or higher, and almost 37% of bachelor's degrees or higher. So a good educated group. A healthy median household income, about 11% poverty level. When you look at the K through 12, there's 17 public schools across the country. 5 elementary, 5 K through 8, 3 middle, 3 high school. 1,200 employees, the largest employer in the county. We've got some of the top ranked high schools in the state. And we've also got 3 charter schools that are well appreciated and ranked as well. What's interesting is when you also look at some of those demographics on the prior slide, I think it's important to note that we've got not only just the public school system, the private charter school system, and the community college, we've also got some nonprofit groups that are helping contribute to improving that overall situation. And these are just a couple, but overall I think what we've got is a partnership between these organizations you saw earlier, plus some of the nonprofits that are helping improve that. Central Carolina Community College, public, nonprofit, the ability to provide associate degrees in arts, science, applied science, certificate programs, as well as people to help get adult education services or high school equivalencies. We've got campuses across the 3 counties of Lee, Hartnett, and Chatham, and in Chatham, here in Siler City and in Pittsboro. One of the, I think, more innovative programs, and Bud has been a big proponent of this and should rightfully be proud, but there's a terrific program here with Central Carolina Works, effectively enabling placement of guidance counselors in the high schools to guide and steer students to careers, both through the 2-year program, the 4-year program, and also as students that may want to accelerate their efforts in high school, the ability to get college credit while they're still taking high school courses. And so, very economic development friendly program, I would say, and one that encourages growth of student learning, as well as was shown in Texas, the students that participate in a model like this typically are twice as likely to enroll in a postgraduate program than if they were not. So the ability to take students from high school and to continue their education to drive to a better educated workforce is really fostered by this program. One of the last things I wanted to highlight was just the fact that when you look at some of the statistics, and this was out of a study produced by the state of North Carolina in, I believe, 2009, the #1 factor out of 19 factors listed by companies looking for the reasons as to why they would locate their business somewhere was based on the availability of skilled labor. So, and what was interesting was that statistic is almost 50% higher than the second rated statistic, which is state corporate tax rate. So you can't underestimate the role that education plays in driving companies to Chatham County, and why the whole education programs that are being built here are really so important. I guess lastly on that point, you can clearly see the correlation between earnings and unemployment rates. This was a study that was done across a wide swath, but what you basically see here is as the education degrees go up, your earnings obviously increase and the unemployment rate decreases. So you've got a direct correlation between people that have less than a high school diploma and a high unemployment rate to those folks that are better educated and typically are further better employed. So with that, let me turn it over to Chris, and you'll hear about the EDC focus and some of the progress and results today.
Hello, I'm Chris Ehrenfeld with the Chatham Economic Development Corporation. And tonight I'm going to tell you a couple different things. I'm going to tell you first what the Chatham Economic Development Corporation, what we are. I'm going to give you some statistics that exemplify some of the successes we've had in recent years with businesses we've worked with. I'm also going to give you a real brief overview of a project we've worked on called the Conceptual Use Plan. And I'm going to tell you about the 3 major projects we're working with, that any one of them has the potential to really be a complete game changer from an economic perspective. And we're fortunate enough to have 3 of those that we're working with currently. So, gotta make sure that's it. Thank you, man. Sorry about that. Yeah, the Economic Development Corporation is a private, nonprofit organization based in Pittsboro. Our goal is to make Chatham County the preferred location for new companies. Our board consists of volunteer members of the business community, such as myself and Doug, as well as representatives of the county commissioners, the mayors of the 3 towns in Chatham County. We also have the president of the community college and superintendent of schools serving on our board. So we really have a very diverse and great makeup of our board to regularly have input in what we do. We also have 4 full-time staff, 2 of which Ben and Melissa are here, and Diane Reed is our president, whom all of you I'm sure know. And if anybody's ever seen an EDC presentation, it's typically Diane. So if you're disappointed it's not Diane tonight, see her afterwards and she'll give you your money back. So let's get into some statistics on successes that the EDC has had recently. You can see here, these are new jobs created by companies the EDC has worked with. In fiscal year 2013, last year, we had 686 new jobs of companies that the EDC has worked with, and that's resulted in an annual payroll of about $17 million from those jobs. And as both these charts clearly exemplify, obviously upward trends in terms of the amount of businesses the EDC has worked with and the success that the EDC has had. This next chart shows capital investment by companies the EDC has worked with. It also is an upward trend. Don't be distracted by the crazy upward trend in 2012. We had a large one-time project that was a major expansion at Galway Ridge. It was about a $100 million project. Don't get me wrong, we're very happy to have those big one-time projects, but they make your statistics go a little more volatile as opposed to just upward. But as you can see, from 2010, just a couple million, through 13, where we have 22 million, it's been a nice gradual increase in terms of the companies that we've worked with and the amount of capital investment that they have made. These 2 charts here show you capital investment per county investment. We're funded through a couple of different sources. The EDC receives the majority of its funding from Chatham County government. We also get some funding from the individual towns, and we also receive private funding as well. But the majority does come from the county. So what these stats show you is return on investment for the county dollar. So for every dollar that the county has given us, we have yielded investments with companies we've worked with in the county of anywhere from 50 to 350 in 2012 when we had that extraordinary investment. But otherwise, you can see again an upward trend and a very significant return on investment for the county putting their money into the EDC. Same trend you're seeing is on the cost per job, because we continually created more jobs. The amount of money that's been given by the county to the EDC on a per job basis is reduced significantly, where in last year it was less than $500 of county dollars for every job that we created. So I think those are very positive results. We achieved these results through our 3 primary focuses, which are the attraction of new businesses to Chatham County, the retention and expansion of existing businesses. We want businesses that are succeeding to succeed here and stay here and expand here. And third, through entrepreneurship, so helping new entrepreneurs grow their business and right here in Chatham County. So the first major leg that we work on is attraction, and that tends to be the one that draws the most business or increases the most business and gets the best, most results. As you can see here, of those 600 and some jobs I talked about earlier, you see in In 2013, we created 370 jobs. We operate on a fiscal year basis from July 1 to June 30th. So we have 2 quarters of 14 already done. You see in the first 2 quarters of 14, we have 266 new jobs were created, well in excess of our target of 150 for the whole year. We've already blown through the whole year in less than 6 months. But again, it continues that upward trend, and obviously the more jobs you have, the more value of those jobs, and capital investment is also increased accordingly. Some specific example of attraction projects. Walmart was our largest attraction project. This is the Walmart in North Chatham County. That project has that store has 148,000 square feet and has about 300 employees. So it's a great draw as far as a job attraction. But what I think it's an even better example of is something Doug touched on, which is retail leakage. Currently, as Doug said, 64 cents out of every dollar we spend outside of the county. Well, this Walmart's going to help reverse that trend. Because the Walmart, I don't know if you're all familiar with it, but it's on 15501 in North Chatham County. It's literally right over the county line. To give you some idea how close it is to the county line, the store is in Chatham County, their storm retention pond is in Orange County. So, but from a retail sales perspective, the reason that's important is when you buy something at a store, you spend 6.75% goes to sales tax. Of that, 4.75% of it goes to the state, no matter where you spend it in the state. But the last 2% goes to the county where the money is spent. So the fact that this Walmart, we care where the cash registers are. Cash registers are on our side of the counter. So, that store, based on projections, could generate north of $1 million a year in revenue for the county. If that store were 100 yards north, it would generate 0. So that was a big win for the EDC to help attract them. They wanted to be in the Chapel Hill market, but rather than being in Orange County, by being in Chatham County, can literally add up to tens of millions of dollars over the life of that store. So that was a huge win for us. Another attraction project is the Piedmont Health Senior Care. They opened a 20,000 square foot facility in Pittsboro. It's a facility, it's a daycare facility for adults. So adults who still want to live at home that need assistance during the day. Another attraction project was Stratus Solar. Stratus Solar last year was one of the 5 largest solar companies in the United States based on the amount of megawatts of solar power that they put in the ground. Based on what they have on the books for 2014, they expect to become the #2 largest solar company in the United States. And their headquarters is now in the Bold Building in Governor's Village in North Chatham County. So they moved here from Chapel Hill, but that's a nice feather in our cap to have if they do end up, as they expect, to be the 2nd largest solar company in the country to be headquartered right here in Chatham County. They also have a warehouse facility right down the street from there that's also in Chatham County, and they have over 100 employees now that all work in Chatham County. So we're very happy to work with them and get them here in our county. The next EDC objective is retention and expansion. So again, we want to keep those businesses that are succeeding here and help them succeed and expand. So again, on statistics, you'll see companies we've worked with that have stayed here and helped with expansion projects. We've generated north of 200 jobs a year for the last couple of years and payrolls of $6 million, $5 million, and capital investments. Again, that's that one large capital investment, but significant investments by year for sure. In terms of some examples behind these projects, retention projects, the Olympic Steel. Olympic Steel is an international industrial steel manufacturer that has a plant here in Siler City, and they're investing $2 million in that plant to expand it and to create about 65 new jobs. Another success story from a retention standpoint is Brookwood Farms Barbecue. Brookwood Farms cooks and distributes Pick Cook Barbecue. They sold over 9 million pounds of barbecue last year. They're a big-time operation. They're also here in Siler City. Their product is sold in 35 states. They also sell over 2 million pounds of barbecue to school districts through the USDA. And last year they undertook an expansion project that will generate about 40 new jobs. They also have new marketing agreements with Charlotte Motor Speedway and the University of North Carolina. So they continue to grow and expand, and they continue to do that right here in Chatham County. Another smaller project, but extension and expansion just the same, is Belladonna Restaurant in downtown Pittsboro. She had a smaller restaurant and bought the old Pizza Hut and renovated that and expanded, and she's doing great there, and she now has over 20 employees there. So, we don't just work with large corporations, we work with anybody and everybody that wants to do business in Chatham County. Next major EDC objective, the third and final, is entrepreneurship. We certainly work with entrepreneurs and help them grow and create more jobs in our county. Entrepreneurs step forward in a variety of ways to create new businesses in our county, from auto supply stores to corn maze to a bed and breakfast to several new restaurants. Here are some statistics, jobs created through companies the EDC has worked with through entrepreneurship. As you can see, we've created about 100 plus jobs each year for the last couple of years. Some specific examples, the Phoenix Bakery, which is in downtown Pittsboro. They opened just in July of last year. When they first opened, they were open 5 days a week, a husband and wife team. They're doing so well that the husband quit his full-time job at UNC. They're open 7 days a week now. They have over 10 employees, and they're already considering moving into a larger space. So they're really doing quite well. Another small example, or another entrepreneur example, is the Pittsboro Roadhouse. That's also in downtown Pittsboro. They moved into the space previously occupied by the General Store restaurant. They did a major renovation of the facility, added event space. They regularly have live music, and they have about 30 employees. So again, 30 employees here, 20 employees there, it all adds up. Cumulatively, that's hundreds of employees in our county. Next thing I'll tell you about is a major project that we worked on last year, which is the conceptual land use plan. This plan emphasizes targeted growth in the towns and economic development areas while preserving rural land. So you can see here is what our county currently looks like from a tax perspective. A lot of white space. That white space is what Doug talked about earlier, how we're 91% residential. This map, everything white on here is residential. So you can see there's a lot of residential on there. The next biggest thing behind residential is the blue for Jordan Lake. It's a lot further down before you get to the yellow of commercial and black of industrial. But this is what we currently look like. So the intent was the EDC worked with the planning staff from the county, as well as the planning staff from the towns and the county commissioners, and got significant public input. And we developed a land use plan for the county going forward. So it's a guideline for a strategy for planning for Chatham County for the years ahead. And this here is what the conceptual use plan looks like. And you'll see these circles here are these targeted employment zones that I talked about around the cities, as well as around the megasites, which I'm going to talk about here in a minute, and along some of the major corridors. So the intent is, again, to have targeted employment zones that are dense with employment and population, but that allows us to, it allows the county to grow economically, get more balanced economy by having growth, especially business growth, while still preserving the natural rural beauty that we all know and love of Chatham County. So next we're going to talk about the three major projects that were on the conceptual use plan, but they're the Moncure Megasite, which is 1,000 acres, the Chatham Randolph Megasite, which is 1,800 acres, and Chatham Park, which is over 7,000 acres. The Moncure Megasite is 1,000 acres in southeast Chatham, so just outside of Moncure. The site shows a great deal of promise for a major manufacturing or distribution facility. The property is all owned by one family, and just last Friday we found out the property was accepted into the Duke Power Site Readiness Program. This is the same program that the Chatham Randolph Megasite went through last year. So you'll see basically this Megasite is 1 year behind the Chatham Randolph Megasite in terms of development. So So you'll see, a lot more information and a lot more marketing and all that will come forward here over the next year. But this site has a great deal of potential, and the EDC will continue to work with developers to obtain the necessary reports and approvals to make this site more marketable and closer to becoming a reality. The next major development is the Chatham Randolph Megasite. Here's a picture of the Megasite here. It's, as I said, it's about 1,800 acres located west of Siler City. It's owned by 2 individuals. On this site, you can see the upper right-hand corner is that whole property line abuts a rail line for about a mile there. That's very desirable for a manufacturing facility. In the lower left corner, you see the property goes down and touches Highway 64. So you have access to both rail and highway. The property not only has access, property actually abuts both of those. So that's very desirable. Preliminary engineering studies say about 1,445 of the acres are developable. So that's a very high percentage of usable acres, and especially for a large mega site like this. This was a part of the Duke Site Readiness Program last year. In August of last year, McCown and Sweeney presented their findings in late August to about 100 community leaders here in Siler City. And there they concluded the Megasite gives the state a potentially strong competitor for the automotive industry. In this photo you can also see the railway and some other site-specific photos there. The EDC recently launched a website, ChathamRandolphMegasite.com. On this website you can find facts about the land, maps of the transportation, infrastructure, utilities, and panoramic photos from throughout the site. This map here is one of my favorites. What it shows is the BMW facility from Spartanburg, South Carolina, dropped onto this property. And what that does is it gives you an idea of the size and scale of this mega site. There's enough room for the entire BMW facility to be there and it to double in size and still have room for an automotive support supplier park where you could have another 6 to 8 suppliers all on the same property that all work with each other, which would be an unbelievable creator of jobs and a great economic boost for the area. This next map shows where the site's location is in central North Carolina. The site consultants noted that there's a lot of manufacturing work base in this area. There's over 15,000 people in Chatham and Randolph counties currently work in manufacturing. And that's something important that manufacturers look for, is that they have the ability to have a good manufacturing work base when they come to an area. You can also see on this map the close proximity to both Raleigh and Greensboro, and Raleigh-Durham International Airport and Greensboro International Airport. This next map shows a 250-mile radius around the mega site. It's important, you can see there's a lot of cities and a lot of people and a lot of ports all within 250 miles of this area. Those are all desirable things from the perspective of a major manufacturer or an automotive manufacturer. In October, Southern Business and Development Magazine, which is a very reputable trade publication in the automotive industry, published their Southern Auto Corridor Special Edition. Based on their analysis, the editors selected the Piedmont Triad as the #1 spot in the Southern Auto Corridor. And he's quoted as saying, "We believe that one of the next 2 automakers announcing greenfield plants in the corridor will pick a site in the Piedmont Triad." They also went on to rank individual sites, and the Chatham Randolph Megasite was selected as the 3rd best site there is in the entire Southeast. So, that's some really good and important third-party validation that we were looking for that shows that this is very much can become a reality. And currently the EDC is conducting the engineering and other studies necessary to obtain certification through the North Carolina Certified Site Program. We believe it will obtain that certification, and when it does, we will be the only state-certified mega site. So when somebody comes to North Carolina looking for a place to put an automotive manufacturing facility or some other major manufacturing facility, we're going to be the only game in town because we'll be the only certified Megasite at that point. So we're very excited about that. The next major proposed development the EDC has been working with, we're talking about, is Chatham Park. Chatham Park, there's a map of it here. You can see where here's downtown Pittsboro, and Chatham Park is this red outline, unusual shape, giant piece of land right there. Chatham Park's over 7,100 acres. It is proposed to have over 22 million square feet of commercial square footage. Now, to put that in perspective, 22 million square feet is about how many square feet are in the entire Research Triangle Park currently. And as you all know, Research Triangle Park has hundreds of international corporations in there. So that's a lot of square footage. And there are people who have dubbed this RTP 2.0 or the Silicon Valley of the East. So it sort of gives you an idea of the kind of companies that are likely to be targeted for this. But the reason it's called Chatham Park and not RTP 2.0 is the developers intend to make it a lot different than RTP. The Research Triangle Park has businesses, and that's it. This is designed and intended to be a live, work, play community. So what I mean by that is they expect to have 22,000 residents, 22,000 households in the development, and that translates to about 55,000 new residents, which is close to the population we currently have in the entire county. But they intend to not only have 22,000 residents, they're going to have 22 million square feet commercial space that's mostly office, but will also be retail and services and entertainment and other things to support the people that do work there so they can live, work, and play there, as well as they're going to have lots of green space and interaction with the Haw River. But don't get concerned, we're not going to get 55,000 people overnight. This build-out is projected to be 30-plus years. So over the next 30-plus years, this development will continue to develop and come to fruition. And developers are currently working with the town on obtaining approval, and they could get approval to start as early as mid-May. Here's a preliminary transportation plan. It just shows you some of the roadways. Some of the big additions or changes to the roadways will be a new interchange off of Highway 64 bypass, as well as a new 15501 bypass, and then they'll have different feeder roads that come off of those. The master plan generally calls for more intensive development close to Pittsboro, working your way to residential, and then a buffer area as you get closer to and approach the Haw River. And this next one just shows a little bit more detailed, detailed layout of those general swaths. But you again see more commercial development closer to the city, residential as you're moving out further. And 1 in 5 acres is scheduled to be green space. One of the first projects that's likely to come about with Chatham Park is the new is a UNC medical office building. This will be built behind the Bojangles across the street from Northwood, up on the hill there. So this will be one of the first buildings you'll see. Again, you see the look, what they're going for, a very modern look to the development. Another early project you'll see with it is a 20 megawatt solar farm. This is from Strata Solar. We talked about earlier how they're now headquartered in Chatham County. They are working with the Chatham Park developers to do this solar farm. It's a 20 megawatt solar farm. It's on 178 acres. It'll provide enough electricity to power about 2,300 homes. Chatham Park also calls for extensive trail systems that will provide access to the Haw River, and new river access points are envisioned. Here you see a concept of what we're calling a Bluff Park overlook, but they intend to have a lot of parks and opportunities for people to be able to enjoy nature. The development plan, or framework, calls for these village centers, which you can see there's 4 of them. There's the North Village, the Research Forest Village, Central Village, and Southern Village, or South Village rather. So those are sort of the hearts of these village communities that are going to be part of the development as it goes forward. They primarily focus on they're located, the North Village, which they believe will be the first that they'll develop, is off of the 64 bypass and the new interchange there, and the rest come down off of the 15501 bypass and the main feeder roads from there. North Village, which is in the upper right, this gives you some general idea of what they're thinking as far as conceptually for the development. Here's one a little bit further back, and you can see again more commercial development here, and then back here you can see residential starting to show up there further up on the screen. But it has the high-tech look and feel of a modern mixed-use development. So now that we see some of the new business opportunities that are coming to Chatham County, the question is, what does successful economic development mean? Well, it means a bunch of things. For residents, it means a larger tax base. It means easier access to amenities. It means greater opportunity for local employment. For business owners, it means more potential customers, a larger pool of employees, increased business traffic, and more business-to-business interaction. We will be doing some more of these outreach presentations throughout the county. We've done a handful of them, so if you know anybody that'd be interested in hearing updates like this, the next one we have coming up is in Moncure on April 15th at 7 p.m. We also have one coming up at the Preserve, Briar Chapel. We'll be doing one for the general public for Siler City, Pittsboro, and Goldston. So the question is, how do we expand our reach? How do we get you more involved? We want your help spreading the good word about Chatham County. So, we want you to be telling your friends, neighbors, business associates how much you enjoy living in Chatham County, how much you enjoy working in Chatham County. There is no better endorsement or no better marketing than word of mouth. And so we want you to go out and talk about and tell people about the great things in Chatham County and the great things that are coming to Chatham County. Another way to get involved is you can spend your money in Chatham County. You spend your money here so your hard-earned tax dollars stay here in our county instead of leaving the county when you spend your money outside of Chatham County. And by spending your money here, you're also going to help the businesses here succeed and help those businesses grow, and that will help attract other businesses. And then you can also go to our website, which is chatham.edc.org. There's a lot of great information on there, and there's a spot that we highlighted there where you can get our newsletter. Just have to enter your email address and hit sign up, and we won't spam you. We'll send you a newsletter about once a month, but it'll keep you abreast of all the economic updates and exciting things that are going on in Chatham County. But we want you to be engaged. We want you to help us, sell our county. We all love Chatham County, and there's a lot of exciting things going on. So I appreciate your time. Diane, you just take the floor.
I'll stand up if I can. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Doug. I'm going to back up. This one. One of the things we want from you tonight is a commitment to have one of these general public sessions at your place. So we'd like to, have one in Siler City, maybe at the community center. Invite the public in. We'd like to have one in Pittsboro, possibly at the, I think Bud had suggested the multi-purpose room we could use for that, and have people come in. Just trying to get the word out. And Goldston, wherever you tell us, we'll be there. Just set one up and we will come. Because I think, what, I'm really excited because I didn't have to do this. Our board is stepping up and taking on this, engagement and getting the word out to the community about what we're doing. And this is unprecedented and excellent, and we want to keep doing it. So keep our board. Doug just told us at our board meeting 2 days ago that he's retiring, so he has more time to do more. So really, just let us know when we can set that up. We'll be happy to. We'll come. We might even bring some water and cookies or something to the folks that would come out for that. So.
Diane, just a footnote to that. One of the things that I think we saw in the first 3 pilot sessions that I thought was really compelling, and it kind of spoke to that partnership model that we discussed earlier. The fact that we had the elected officials as a part of this made it very compelling for the folks that were there as individuals, because Brian, Walter, Mayor Terry were all there. We did the initial 3 sessions in Pittsboro, and obviously Chatham Park was a topic of great interest. But the fact that the elected officials could be there to discuss the Q&A, when we finished presenting, a lot of the questions would come up as to, well, what are we doing here? How are you dealing with this issue? And it's the elected officials that can really help with that, because they're the ones that are now taking the next steps to address those points. So I think as a partnership, it worked beautifully. And I think what it showed the people in attendance was that this thing is truly a great model, and it's got representation. So as we build this out further, and we now have the education component to it, I think this is stuff we can add there as well. So just a quick footnote, because I think that model is working well.
And we can customize it. We can do more detail on the Chatham Randolph Megasite when we are in Siler City, and so it's a work in progress, and we can make it fit. So please do let me know when we can get these scheduled, or let Ben know. He's better at remembering that somebody called.
Be sure and beef up South Village for Moncure, because they're already interested in how close it's coming.
Oh, okay, okay. Good to know, good to know. And that's another thing that we're learning, that, different communities have different interests. And so sort of any advice about the things that we need to focus on is also very much appreciated. Okay, well now it is time, and I see we have new people here. So back of the room filled while we were busy looking. So welcome. It's time to hear from the other boards. Who would like to go first? Mayor Grimes, you want to talk about what's happening in Siler City?
I think one of the dynamic things that's happening is the fact that we have formed a citizen committee. Each commissioner appointed a person to come on the committee, and they are studying our UDO, all of our ordinances. And they're going to, I've been reading an update on it, and the aim of the committee, as far as the recommendations they're making, are to make the ordinances more friendly toward businesses and toward individuals. I think one of the examples is our signage ordinance. It was very restrictive. I think the citizen committee, the recommendation they're going to make to the planning board, which after they study it, they'll make their recommendation to the board, then the board will take action on it. Is to increase the size of signs that the individuals can have for their businesses. And also, I think the kind of ordinance as it stands now, a sign has to be on the inside of the window. And I think one recommendation is to put the sign, that allow the sign to be placed on the outside of the business also. I think that, and then the Megasite, are two exciting things going on in Siler City right now. The city, as far as our requirements on helping to get the site certified, we're moving along in we're almost done with the engineering, is that correct? And there has to be engineered drawn plans for the infrastructure as far as for sewer and for water. We're coming along, and we're almost through with that. And then once we do that, then we'll present it to the individuals who need that information in order to get the site certified. And we are looking forward, but we have, when I moved here in 1968, this was a dynamic city. It had furniture manufacturing base, textile manufacturing base, and a lot of poultry industry. And the last 15 years, we've lost all that. And so we're hurting economically here. The Megasite is giving a lot of people a lot of hope. And we're wanting to do whatever we need to do that's necessary in order to make this Megasite a valid and an economic engine for this area and for the whole county. But we need that site here. We need the money moving around town. Whenever we get my mother-in-law came in one day in the business. I come in and she bought something, and my father-in-law asked her what she be doing. She had been doing that day. She said, "Well, I've been out shopping." He said, "Well, what'd you buy?" And so she was telling me, and she forgot what it was. And she told me about something she bought. He said, "Well, why in the world would you buy something like that? I mean, what in the world possessed you to do that?" She looked at him and she said, "To help the economy. To help the economy. Gotta give you money." He couldn't argue that. She had him checkmate.
Great,
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. And just on the Megasite, February 26th, we had submitted everything that all the paperwork. There are even more people appearing all the time. We started submitting, we submitted all the documentation for the Megasite certifications, the engineering studies, not the sewer studies, but the site boring, the borings and the archaeological study and all of that material, beginning of February. And on February 26th, the certification committee met and approved everything that had been submitted. We have to add the engineering when that's complete. But they typically meet every other month, and they told us that whenever we get that in, we'll call a special session. They'll look at it right then and go ahead and do the certification, because they're as anxious as we are to have a certified Megasite in North Carolina. And a week from today, next Thursday, Secretary Tata from the Department of Transportation is just got an email that he'll be here at 9 o'clock to tour the site, because one of the things that will be needed, it does have access on 64, but we need a connection to 421. And so DOT is very much aware of that. They're looking at alternate ways the shortest, cheapest, most efficient way to make that connection. And they've actually identified one possibility that's less than a mile from the tip of the property to the new 421 that would require no disruption. Nobody lives there, there wouldn't be any disruption to people in the area. So that's really good. So things are moving. Not fast enough for the owners. Not fast enough for folks in Siler City.
One other thing I'd like to add is the fact that our local airport can handle corporate jets, and that's a great asset.
Let's see, let's show through. Patty, would you like to tell us what's happening in the county?
Yeah, I guess, first of all, I'd like to kind of do a commercial for next Monday evening.
What's happening then?
We're going to be doing State of the County. And what that means is we'll be sharing with you and the citizens what the impact of this development we're talking about, what an impact that has on the county. Because what that will do is it'll help fund the infrastructure that's needed for the county, it'll help fund the education, and it does the things that we need to do and takes a lot of that financial burden off individual taxpayers. Because that revenue that comes from the industrial tax base is shared by all their customers. So people all over the world are helping fund things in Chatham County when you fund industry, and it takes it off individual taxpayers. And that's where we're trying to get to in the county, and that's what you'll see in our State of the County address next week, is how that growth, the increase in jobs, the increase in revenue, the increase in capital investments, how that has had an impact on the revenue for the county. And in turn, how that pays for education, as you guys well know, as you work on your budgets, how it covers our infrastructure costs, how it gets water and sewer in the areas that we need it. So that's the takeaway here that we need to see about what EDC is doing right now. And I think the biggest change that I saw with EDC in the last few years is, and pardon me for saying so, but they kind of took the blinders off and started, let's look for opportunities. Instead of trying to make a square peg fit in a round hole, let's find what works for Chatham County. And I think that's the direction that the EDC has taken the last few years, and we're starting to see opportunities come. And we have also seen those opportunities come by making it a more business-friendly environment for the county and for industry. John, you touched on that when you were talking a little bit. Making it easier for businesses, not changing anything we're doing or what we're requiring, just making it easier. It's had a big impact. Some of the things we've done with the county is had pre-application meetings. So now when a business person has an idea, they can come into the county and sit down with all parties involved, and they walk away knowing what they need to do. Instead of leaving a meeting at the planning department and going and starting in a direction, only to find out, oh, by the way, you need to do this. Oh, by the way, you need to do that. Oh, by the way, well, nobody told me those things. And that increases the time it takes to get a project up and running. And time is money, as you well know in business. So that pre-app meetings help a lot with that. So we've got a lot of good, exciting things happening in Chatham County, and we've got a lot more exciting things coming. John, you stole one other thing that I was going to use a little bit. I was born here in 1958. Uh-oh, I didn't give that away, did I? But I spent my entire life here, and I've seen Chatham County change a lot over the years. And in areas in Bonnelly where I live, it was a thriving place at one time. And now there's not much there at all. I've seen it happen in Siler City. Goldston's hanging on pretty good, but there's a lot of changes there too, right? Surviving. So it's surviving. How many in here have kids? How many live in the county that have kids that work outside of the county? Grown children that work outside of the county. We can see that change. We can see that change with things we're talking about here tonight. I have 2 adult children, 1 special needs child still home, but I have 2 adult children. One of them works for me and doesn't want to even live in Chatham County. We can see that change if we provide a place and environment for our kids to stay at home, to find employment, give them the things they're looking for, and create an environment where they want to stay at home and be at the places where they were raised. And so I think we can see that happen. I see a lot of good things on the horizon. I'm excited about where Chatham County is. I'm excited about where Chatham County is headed. I'm excited for what that means for the citizens of Chatham County. Just as importantly, I'm excited for what it can do for the county without putting the burden on individual taxpayers. Because right now, 91% of all our revenue comes from real estate taxes. That's the wrong balance. We can get some of that revenue from industry that's paid for by customers all over the world. And so that's where we're headed. That's what we want to do. And I thank everyone for attending tonight. Please come Monday night. Get an opportunity to see the impact. Mike?
Don't you have a light in Barley?
A light?
Yeah.
Tom Bodette turned it off. It's about burned out. There's one stoplight. No, it's a flashing light. But thank you for everyone. We appreciate your support. Look forward to working with you in the success of Chatham County.
Well, do you want to talk about Goldston?
I just have one comment. First, the mayor stood up, says he regrets he's under the weather. I'm happy to report that our sewer project is finally underway. Moving along quite well. It will be completed next year. We're really excited about that and looking forward to the possibilities when it's finished. And that's really all Goldston has to say tonight.
Okay, thank you. Do you want to do this one? Okay, Dr. Jordan, you want to tell us what's happening with the schools?
There are always great things happening with the public school system, and we're excited. We are pleased to report that our school system remains very competitive. We are excited about our teacher effectiveness data that we just received. Approximately 85% of our teachers met or exceeded growth goals for our students. And when we compare those results to the results around us, we sit at the top of the list. And so we're excited about that, and we're looking forward to continued productivity. We're also looking at the possibility of an early college in Chatham County. We have a wonderful relationship with Central Carolina Community College, but we're one of only a few districts in the state that does not have an early college, and so we are moving towards exploring the possibility of bringing in an early college. And you also heard from the presentation that we are engaged in the Central Carolina Works program, and we're looking forward to being able to benefit from those counselors next school year, and we are sure that we'll see a lot of good results as a product or outgrowth of their being in our schools. So again, the public school system is alive and well. We're doing great things, and we can stand up against the great state of Wake, Chapel Hill, and anywhere else you want to contemplate.
Thank you. When I was sitting down, because we're used to the superintendent talking. Very concise, very nice, yes.
He's been employed as superintendent for 9 days. He was here with us long before that, but he's officially a newbie. But he's getting a great school system to move forward.
And we're congratulations.
Thank you.
Pittsboro?
I'll be happy to speak with that if you'd like. Okay. Well, our news, of course, is Chatham Park, and all the stats have been expressed. I'll repeat them in general: 7,000 acres, 22,000 dwelling units, 22 million square feet of non-residential, so commercial, industrial, whatever the case may be. I think Chris mentioned one of the features of the development is also that 1 in 5 acres is to be green space. Well, in fact, that's not accurate. 2 in 5 acres has been requested to be green space. The master plan right now says about 30%. Last Monday night we suggested they consider 40%. So the density of the development on those 7,000 acres will actually occur on about 4,000 acres. That makes for very good economics from delivery of services, obviously, with greater density. So we're excited about that. We, on Monday night, issued a report to the developer to ask them to modify certain features of their master plan. They seem to think that there were no problems in doing that, so we're excited about the prospect of this being in a position to be approved soon. Once approval occurs, though, that's when the real heavy lifting is going to occur. The master plan at this point doesn't define exactly how certain things are going to occur. So there is a list of 13 different items or different plans that they've got to produce over the next 2 years before they can exceed 5% of their residential density or 15% of their non-residential density. And Mayor Grimes, the town of Pittsboro is also reviewing our land development ordinances. And we are going to do that in the next 2 years as well. So we see a great opportunity for this development and our town to organize itself for the 22nd century, if you will, with our ordinances and have the synergy of good thinking from the developer side and the community side, so that at the end of this 2-year period, we're in a very good position for marching forward. So we're excited and we're challenged. The next 2 years will be some very heavy lifting, as I mentioned. 2 features of the plans that we've requested them to create is an affordable housing plan and a master facilities plan. So that will deal with schools, fire, police, and town administrative facilities. So there's going to be a lot of work with the schools to make sure that those 60,000 residents have convenient locations for their children to go to school. And we're looking forward to what great opportunity this promises.
I just want to add one thing to that. A lot of people think just about the Chatham Park boundaries, but I think we also anticipate that there's going to be a lot of growth around Chatham Park as well. So it's going to be much bigger than just the 7,000 acres. It's going to create a lot of growth in, all around Chatham Park. That's why the ordinances will help us get ready.
Our new representative, I know you're new, and I don't know what you know about what's going to happen in the short session, but if you have any comments you'd like to make or things that you're expecting, well, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you. I'll just reintroduce myself, Robert Reeves, and I'll just tell you at this point in time that with a short session, it's a little different than you have with your long sessions in the sense of mainly going to be dealing with budgetary issues, local bills, things of that sort. Good thing Chatham County has going for it is we get to introduce any of our local bills, and we don't have to worry about fighting with any other representatives to see if we can get that done. So that's what's going to be covered. Then they're hoping for around a month and a half, 2 month short session. As you've seen from other sessions, you don't know until it starts really how long it's going to go. The thing I've been excited about what's happened is that what I envision and what I hope for is what's been going on in the sense of local boards, local elected officials keeping in touch, feeding me information, talking to me, telling me what their needs and desires are, and it's been from everybody, and I really appreciate that, and I want that to continue because what I think is important is which from EDC. I mean, number one, getting your education, getting your infrastructure in place, getting all those things going, and that only happens if everybody's talking and working together. If everybody's kind of doing their own separate thing, then the next thing you know, you're just butting heads. And so I've really enjoyed the contact I've had with all the elected officials. Those I haven't had contact with, please feel free to contact me anytime, any day, way, shape, or form. Just like Commissioner Petty was telling me before that, you know, I am going to be asleep at times. But when I'm not asleep, I'll be doing my best to keep in contact with you. But it's exciting. What you got going on is exciting. What we're going to have going on is exciting. And keep in contact, keep in touch, let me know what your concerns are. I've already had a couple of people tell me, I think this is coming up in your short session. Vote no. And I'm ready, because the one thing that I can tell you from anybody that has met me or knows me, I do not mind being a good, strong, loud voice for your concerns. But my job is to be a representative, and that is representative of your concerns. So anytime, any day, let me know. I'd be happy to help, but I'm excited at the opportunity, and thanks for all the support I've received.
Unless we have another town that I came up. Did I see a hand?
I don't, this, when you have the slide that said, what part of the dollars, cost of residential business and industry?
The cost of community services.
What category do places like Galloway Ridge and Carolina Meadows fall in?
They fall in residential.
Residential. So they require very little.
But overall, that was looking at it. Does anyone else have anything to share? We're doing, I'll give us 10 minutes of sharing.
And I failed to say that, I'd like to acknowledge it at this time. I appreciate what the EDC is doing, the hard work that you put in it, and the accomplishments that you guys have made. You get a lot done with a small staff. And thank goodness for the board support you got working for you now.
Yeah, we grew a lot.
And we see a lot of good things happening now, and it's because of a lot of hard work, and that doesn't go unnoticed. I appreciate that.
Everybody's full and had their fun.
I'm not the right person to talk about it, but tying on to what you were saying, not only are we looking at the county, but we're looking at EDC funding sources. It might be a good time for us to talk a little bit about our fundraising direction as we try to wean ourselves off of just the funding coming
Well,
from
I don't have a
government
whole lot more to say to it,
Yeah, yeah.
about it than that. Twig just came in, Twig Wood.
Put us on the spot.
is co-chairing our fundraising campaign, and we are just in the very early stages of going out to try to raise some private sector funds. We don't have a firm dollar goal yet, but it's a 5-year ask that we're making of private sector businesses primarily to support us over the next 5 years. And we've got some specific goals that we hope to attain during that 5-year period. We've secured one lead pledge and hope to have, we're starting with like 6 asks and hope to have those wrapped up in the next week or so, and then we'll move on from there. But it's an effort to diversify, like the county diversifying from all residential and having more commercial and industrial. We want to diversify our funding as well and have more reliance on the private sector and not so much on just the public sector. And if any of you didn't hear it at our, I know Mayor Grimes, you weren't able to be at our board meeting, we're contemplating upping our ask from the municipalities for the year ahead too, just a little bit. Won't be too painful, but just a little bit for this coming year. So there you go. I've said it. So anyone else? Yes, sir. Oh, well.
Diane won't talk about it, but Diane was recently named by the Triangle Business Journal as a Woman in Business, their 2014 class. And she was honored.
Now may I ask for their help, because I just found out today, I got a little notice from them that I have to have a song. So when I go up to get my award, it's like my theme song. So any suggestions about that? Will be most welcome. That should be great fun. And they also said in the same little email that they were going to set up a photography shoot to take pictures of my shoes for a special themed part of the presentation. So I'll let you know what the shoe photo shoot is like. It's Thursday.
I was going to suggest the theme song, the happy song that was on. But if you're going to do the shoes, maybe you need to do the happy feet.
A song about Chatham County musicians.
That's got to be a rocker. That's got to be a rock house. Yeah, that's bluegrass stuff.
Diane, why don't you throw them a curve and use my shoes?
She's got high tops also.
And any other? Well, thank you all for coming. It's a great turnout tonight. Real good. We try to do this about every 3-4 months. So we'll be in touch with another date real soon, and maybe we'll have even more good. I will certainly let the whole world know when we get that site certified. There will be no secrets about that. The Moncure Megasite review process will begin this summer. So probably in fall, McCallum Sweeney will be back to do another presentation where they talk about that site and let us know what it's suited for and any things we need to fix with that. And we're all waiting with bated breath for it. But I guess the medical office building and the hospice now can.
Well, we granted a sewer allocation for that. So I think they're still waiting for the rezoning to get approved to move forward.
Okay.
Because the property, as I understand it, is zoned, a piece of it is zoned properly. They didn't quite get their boundary correct.
Okay.
So a piece of it is in the subject property to be rezoned, and another piece is already zoned correctly.
So that, and the solar farm,
The 20 megawatt solar farm was approved.
so that will be going.
Yeah.
One thing I didn't mention, Diane, we do have extra capacity in our water treatment plant and in our sewer treatment because of the loss of the other energy. Got plenty of space.
Well, thanks, everybody.
Good job.